Hey guys, we're here. We're going to talk about the year that was 2020. The year itself might have been a colossal dumpster fire, but the K-dramas were really good. So we're going to jump in and talk about what made them so great. Join us.
Welcome to the K-Drama Clubhouse. Grab your beverage of choice. Hopefully you have a K3 mug to enjoy it in, because we are going to chat about the K-dramas that were our sanctuary this year.
Right? Marisa, I thought it was a really solid year of K-drama watching this year. I don't know if it was because they just were more feel-good. There were more feel-good shows this year, and we just needed that, or what? But what did you think?
I think that, of everything we watched this year, there were some gems that kind of shot to the top of our best of all time list. And some of them were huge, big budget global shows. And some of them were like a kind of more indie in a way, but they just, I don't know if we were looking for something more this year because of, the pandemic and how our lives are just completely turned upside down.
Yeah.
But they were solid this year.
They were so solid. And I think, and I've talked about this before, but it was so funny because we started the year with Crash Landing on You, and that Hyung Bin character was such a revelation for me, right? And so for all of us, like, he was just a different kind of male lead. And then 2020 just was like, hold my beer. And they just kept giving us more and more of these male leads that were just, they were amazing. They weren't that alpha male. They had, there was a lot of the equal partnership with the woman, which allowed the female leads to really shine this year. Like, those were some of my favorite things that happened this year.
Yeah. So what we've done the past couple of years at the end of the year is kind of done a wrap up with our, actually when Karen was joining us, it was like the three of us kind of choosing our best of the year. But this year, K-dramas kind of filled a really different place in our lives. Yeah. Not to sound like so big and heavy. It was just that.
But it was big and heavy. K-dramas were our happy place, for sure. So this year we did it a little bit differently, you guys. We broke it down because we wanted to look at some pretty too. We wanted to kind of take a look back on the year. And so we've been incorporating the top 3 moments in our Clubhouse every week. And so we've been throwing clips in there of what we've enjoyed the most. So we thought, why not just do a top moments of 2020? And so that's what we're going to do in 4 categories. Yes. What made us feel good? Kind of a hell yes, holy shit moments. Romantic moments, because of course we love it so much. And then moments that really, those stuck the landing endings that really were just the of the year. Now, mind you, there are 80 bajillion clips that we could have pulled for each one of these categories. Choices had to be made, right?
That's right. We can't do a 6-hour show.
No, I mean, we can, but nobody will watch it. First up in the feel-good category, you have to go with a big juggernaut show, right? You have to. It's Okay to Not Be Okay was one of those shows. People still talk about it. It was globally popular, right? And the characters were just, Song Tae was probably my favorite. Like, he was the anchor for me in this show.
Definitely. The relationship he had with his brother, and also Mang Tae, the little doll, was just
right.
Like, in terms of character, it was so beautiful. The love that the brothers had for each other. And that was such, like you said, a beautiful anchor for this show. It was just, Kim Soo-hyun is such a superstar that as the show was airing, and also because it was on Netflix here or outside of Korea, that you saw just around the world, people being drawn to this show. And it's like, come on in, come join the K-drama, addiction club. It's like,
it really did. It just brought so many people to the K-drama world. And so It's Okay to Not Be Okay was definitely, you can't do a year and wrap up without talking about that.
Yeah.
And then one of our all-time favorites this year that came out of nowhere was Mystic PopUp Bar. It was kind of the epitome of the found family, right? Except were they found family or were they actually family? Because it was reincarnation, and then they got together and it was found family, and then it turns out that they were family, and it was just, oh my God, I loved these 3 so much. Like, they were just wacky and into each other and a team. And it was just a really great show.
It was. And it was on Netflix, but I think this is one of those, I don't know how it did in South Korea, but this feels like one of those smaller gems that is just waiting for you to discover it. I mean, the zippy dialogue, the setting of the pocha, of the 10, her modern handbox were beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Right.
And then Sung Jae was just like, he was just the puppy of all puppies. And you could not help but fall in love with him. And this is where we discovered, I would rather say fall in love with, because he's been in 80 bajillion K-dramas, Chae Young-won, and who played Officer Gui. And oh my God. Like,
it's because he wasn't an asshole in this.
Right?
You know?
It is. Yeah. He always plays that guy. So maybe that's what it was. But this one was just a feel-good show from beginning to end.
That's right. The whole afterworld, kind of the magical elements of this were so enjoyable.
So enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Hospital Playlist, which was like a movie every week. Those episodes were really long. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had a stellar producing team, a stellar cast, and episodes that were life affirming.
Nice. Yeah.
They were star doctors in a hospital, friends since med school, and it was definitely emotional, but it wasn't dirgy, it wasn't heavy duty. It was really so positive. And look at them all playing in this band.
Oh my God. It was and didn't they have they did a musical number like every week or something, if I remember correctly?
Yes, every week. And come on, Yoo Yeon-suk playing the drums.
Oh my God.
And Jung Kyung-oh and Jo Jung-suk on the guitar, and then Jung-mi, it just
yeah. Yeah, I kept trying to get caught up on that one because everyone loved it so much. I just kept running out of time, but my goal is to get caught up before season 2 lands this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say it's definitely a commitment, but just every minute, totally enjoyable. Really great stories.
Yeah, it was totally a feel-good one. It totally fits this category completely. And another one that totally fits this category, which people are still want a season 2, it was Stove League. Stove League came out of nowhere, in my personal opinion, and just took K-drama by storm. It was just such an interesting world to live in. And then this ending scene was so freaking, oh my God. It was just so amazing after watching the journey that this team went through for 16 episodes. The only disappointment in this whole scene is that we never see Nam Goong-min. That was the only bummer of this scene.
I know, because look at those game faces.
I know. Goodness. Oh my God. So good to see. And everybody here, we basically saw again. I mean, Park Eun-bin was one of our favorites this year between Stove League and Brahms. You had Nam Goong-min, who's now in Awaken. You've got Jo Byung-kyu, who is now in Uncanny Counter, which is one of our favorites. And Oh Jung-se, who we just talked about in It's Okay to Not Be Okay. He had a stellar year, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, this show was huge in South Korea.
Well, it won the Bach thing, didn't it?
It did. Best K-drama of the year. Nam Goong-min.
Right? And who doesn't love an underdog, Brad News Bears story of a baseball team that wins in the end? Yeah. It was so good. It was great.
And it was baseball. It was so much fun because there was no there was a lot of crying. It was just, yes, there was a lot of crying.
Okay, so our next category that we really just wanted to jump into, because there was just so many fun scenes this year that we were like, oh my God, holy shit, or hell yes. And so that's our next category. And first up, I mean, come on, Tale of the Nine-Tailed spiraled those last 4 episodes where it wasn't as satisfying as we wanted to be, but man, those first 12 episodes were amazing and so enjoyable, right?
Yeah, but look, the bar is set really high when you put Lee Dong-wook in as a mystical creature in a fantasy K-drama.
Yes.
So, wow.
Yes. I mean, come on. The wind is blowing in his hair. He's got all 9 tails flailing. How do you say no to this? You don't say no to that. That is what we say. And so, I mean, it was that for 12 episodes? He was just so good in it. We just loved him.
I mean, he was just glittering, So compelling. So compelling. And Joboa, we liked her spunk, but it was really Kim Bum,
it really was.
Yeah.
His poor little broken heart.
Yeah.
To the end. He's the one who got us in the last 4 episodes. First 12, I was like, whatever. Snot-nosed Kid and Lee Dong-wook were my favorite. But man, those last 4. So good. So yeah. So that one was week after week. We said it every week that Lee Dong-wook should only play mystical creatures. And that it was like, what just happened? So yeah.
Yes. And then we have the Birthcare Center, which is, listen, this show passes the Bechdel test, which is 2 female characters with names, not side characters, talking to each other about something other than a man. So this entire series was about women in these fantasy places, which I guess really exist in South Korea, where you go after you've given birth. And, to recuperate, to nurse, but there were such realities to it. Like this scene where she develops mastitis, and it's so, if you've given birth, if you've nursed a baby, then it's like, you feel her pain. Right. And this show was just so amazing to me because it discussed, it dealt with so many issues that new moms face, like everything from being the perfect wife and mother to the working mother, to an older mother, to a mother who loses a child. But it was done with this amazing cast, Ji-won and Park Ha-sun. Plus we had the director of the place, played by Jang Hae-jin from Parasite. So yeah. And it's the men in this show were the kind of the side characters. So this was a female driven show, directed by a woman, written by a woman. And
that's great.
Love that.
Nice. Yeah. We talked about it all the time in the Clubhouse, but it really did it kept becoming aware to me that since I have no concept of what anyone was talking about, because I did not have a child, I have cats, that I was going to be like, I don't know what's happening. But yes, it was definitely one of those shows that everybody was like, if you have children, it was like, this is amazing.
So this show, it really covered it covered a lot of ground in terms of motherhood, but I have to say they did it really well.
Nice. Well done. That's awesome. That's very cool. So, and then one that I feel like it fell more in the holy shit category because we were never going to really watch it. And then we dove in because it was all on Netflix at once, was Extracurricular. And we binged shit out of that show. And it was wackadoodle and violent. And how we ended up rooting for the bad guys, the criminal kids, I don't know what happened there, Marisa.
Yeah, this really felt like a 10-part indie film. It was edgy and filled with amoral characters, and you just knew that no one was going to get out alive. But they're talking about a season 2.
Yeah. Well, because this ending here was like, I even rewatched the ending when I was putting this show together, and I was like, wait, did she catch them? No, because then he feeds the crab at the end, and I was like, no, well, So so hopefully get a season 2. But yeah, amoral was just the name of the game on Extracurricular. But there were so many holy shit moments that it was just so well done.
Yeah, it really was. Like I said, it felt like an indie film. You had characters you were rooting for doing terrible things, making terrible decisions. And yet they were, it was a whole bunch of anti-heroes, and we loved the show.
Loved it, right? Absolutely. And then you can't have a clip show with Bae Doona in the year and not show Bae Doona, right? You got to talk Bae Doona. And she was in Kingdom and in Stranger too, but in Kingdom season 2, she was the smartest in the room. She solved all the problems. She invoked her son character from Sense8 with a flaming cloak. Like she had so many great moments in a show that had so many holy shit moments that how do you not talk Bae Doona when you're talking about 2020?
Right. She is eternally one of our favorites. And Kingdom 2 just delivered. We waited so long for these episodes.
Right.
But Ju Ji-eun and Bae Doona and the whole crew, it was just, it was, it's worth watching again and just
absolutely.
It because The zombies are terrifying. The stakes are so high.
Oh my God.
Bae Doona figured it out.
Figured it out, as she always does. Yeah. She's Bae Doona. But yeah, I mean, it was just, the show itself just was so filled with holy shit moments, and it just was so satisfying that, yeah, that definitely, of course, is making our list.
Yes. Yeah. So the glorious thing about K-dramas is that you get to see actors playing completely different roles. So Ji-won, who was in Birthcare Center as an older mom, you know, trying to figure out how to be a mom. In The Cursed was a tenacious reporter who goes up against these shamans and a possessed, you know, CEO. And it was just like, we did not realize that this was a show.
No, like the energy level, it was so intense. Like this shaman scene right here, you guys, like this summed up the entire show for me, because I think for like the first 3 weeks, we ended every episode with a shamanistic ritual, and it was insane how intense all of those scenes were, right?
Yes. So our shaman was played by Jo Min-soo, and she was riveting. Like, seriously, we did not know. Like, you go through episode 1 and then this incredible scary thing happens at the end of 1, beginning of 2, and we were like, oh, what is this drama? And it was just oh my goodness.
And it was like that through the end. And every day, we're always very excited when a show that we really enjoy gets a season 2. But this one, you guys, is getting a movie, which means they're going to take the creepy factor to like Korean horror film levels. And I can't wait. It's going to be so good. So yes, if you guys want to catch up on this one before, it's over on Demand Korea, but this one is one to watch before the movie comes out. Oh, so good. You can't have a hell yeah, holy shit list without talking Uncanny Counter, because this show out of the gate has just been just a ride and a half. And we're only at the halfway point as we're doing this show. And it's got the highest ratings of any OCN, and it's about to hit double digits, which is unheard of in cable. And then you've got strong women doing kick-ass stuff. And yeah. It's just,
I mean, this battle of good and evil is just, it's so fun. It's so emotional. It's found families a couple times over. It's just,
it's different odds of found families. Yeah, this show just has everything to it. And again, we've got Jo Byung-kyu, who is our lead from Stove League. We've got Kim Se-jong, who is Dohana, who we are loving. She's an idol. I didn't even know that. So everyone's loving the performance she's giving.
Yeah.
And then you've got Yeom Hae-ran as our Chumeo. Like, come on.
Listen.
Ajuma's
rule.
She is amazing. Yeah. And then you've got Yoo Jun-sang as our the big beefy guy who takes, he's the muscle. So the show is so fantastic. It's just full of hell yeah and holy shit moments. It's a show of all that. And then there's this kindness underneath that is just makes it, I think, is what made the K-dramas of 2020 that extra, was so
Yeah, when you find people who are just so dedicated and loyal to each other, it's like you're just cheering for them from your couch.
Exactly. And that's what we do every Saturday and Sunday. We love them. And they got a season 2 already. We're very happy. All right, next category. What is K-drama without romance? Like, those are like those are our favorite moments, right? For sure. This one was hard. Like, we had a hard time, like, just picking certain moments and not all of them and not in every, it was really hard. Just know that. Just know that we missed a bunch. But, the show that probably is the most romantic of them all that everyone still talks about is Crash Landing on You. And oh my God, right? Just epic from the get-go. This scene here where he is yelling at her not to run, and then he crosses the DMZ again, and she's sobbing, and it's just so much. And oh my God, he throws up the North Korean guy. It's just
I know. I'm gonna cry again because their devotion to each other was just epic. Oh my
epic.
God, look at them.
Right? Just a standoff, and our our ducklings. Like, it was just such an epic scene, right? And just their whole relationship. I remember how much we loved their confession scene when it was just so simple. Like, they just were sitting in her apartment or her house and like just, chatting. And it was so easy and so, oh, they were amazing. They were amazing. And we're not even diving into our secondary couple.
So our second couple had this tragic ending in Crash Landing on You. So tragic. And we were all like, what?
Walking into the future alone as a single woman.
But then K-drama gods, thank you. They rolled right into Dinner Mate with the cameo too. That was just
nice. It was so great. Oh my God. Dinner Mate was another one because it started happening. Like, it was like Crash Landing on You and then Dinner Mate and then another one where we had another adult male lead that actually was like not alpha. Like, oh my God, Sung Sung Hyun's Kim Hae Kyung was I don't know if it's because we're Ajumas, but man, I loved him so much. Like, he was one of my favorites.
This was such a mature relationship. Yes. And it was like, I think the synopsis might have said that he was an arrogant, doctor.
Right. He really wasn't. Not at all. And I love this clip we just showed. I love how that was their time jump for how long they were together, because the whole setup was that they were dinner mates. And so all those dinner clips of on their Instagram, it was romantic and it was heartfelt, and there was none of that weird alpha male wrist grabbing, except for her ex-boyfriend who was played by Lee Ji-hoon, who's one of my favorites, and that was disappointing. But
I know that character went off the rails.
Whatever, but so romantic. It was really romantic and sweet and kind, and I loved it. Right?
Yeah, I think it was definitely Ajima speed, because it spoke to us. This was it was such an enjoyable romantic comedy.
And you can't talk romance in Dinner Mate, even though it was a lovely romance, without talking about Yi Ji-won and Park Ho-san. First and foremost, his character name was Keanu, so I was all in, right? But they were like this homeless man and this powerful producer lady, and I loved every minute of it. We are already huge Yi Ji-won fans, and so this was theirs was also. So this one was all about romance, guys.
It really was. And it ended with a wedding. Yay.
Oh my God,
the one time we were like, yeah.
We were like, yay, wedding. It was so perfect. It was lovely. Like you said, I think it's a perfect Ajima speed, but it was lovely.
Yeah. I think another show that was perfect Ajima speed was My Unfamiliar Family.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the romance in that one, the thing with this one for romance, what it gave us, Marisa, is that wall. What is it with that wall and those romantic moments? Like, look at that.
I know. So this is Daksugang Palace Stonewall Walkway.
Wow.
And it's in a lot of K-dramas this year. It was in Do You Like Brahms? It was in La La Do Do Doso, whatever that one was called. But yeah, when you see it, you're just like, romance alert.
Right. Exactly. You're like, oh, this is going to be romantic. Go. So yes. So My Unfamiliar Family was like a great show and we loved it. But that wall, it kind of started our love of that wall. So the romance was more between me, Marisa, and the wall.
Oh my God. But yeah, this show, it was about a family and all of their relationships, it was definitely tropey, but I think it was the acting and how things resolved.
Such a satisfying ending. Yes.
Satisfying. Really satisfying.
Super satisfying. And another one that I don't want to say came out of nowhere, Marisa, but because when we saw the promos for Into the Ring with Nana and Park Sung-hoon, we were kind of like, yeah, this is going to be fun. But I was surprised how sweet I found their romance to be. Like, it kind of took me by surprise. Like, every week you and I were gushing about it.
That's right. Because, we thought she was typical wacky male lead, but her quirkiness was adorable and unexpected, and together they had amazing chemistry, and they were just so unexpected in terms of where their characters went and how they reacted, and it was just a tremendous amount of fun.
It really was. They were an adorable couple. It was
feisty. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was. I can't wait to see them again, because we had already seen them in what was that one called? Justice. And he was like the creepy serial killer. And you and I were both in that one. We're like, we're kind of into that. Like, what's going on? And so when they ended up at Into the Ring, we were like, yeah. And it was worth it, totally and completely.
Yeah. Super fun.
Super fun. But I have to say, I think the kiss that I think people still talk about, the kiss that made like K-drama a flutter, was that Hyena kiss. Like,
oh my
that
God.
one was, go ahead and use me. Yes.
Yeah, and then the camera move that happened. Oh my God.
I mean, look at that camera move. Like, come on. Like, that's just, that was so good.
Nicely done,
right?
Director.
Like, the whole thing was just perfect. And that their whole relationship was just so hot.
It was, again, mature relationship, grown-ups.
Right.
It was earned, you know.
Wait, that's exactly what it was. Because let's not kid ourselves. Like, even when you and I first started watching, Joo Ji-hoon's character would have been like total alpha male, and would have been like, there have been wrist grabs all over the place, and like weird, like non-consensual invasion of space and shit. But he was like the wounded person in this one, and he still like yielded like his emotions. It was I loved it. Like, his character was Yoon. She kept calling him Yoon. I loved it.
And then her character was this kick-ass charge tiger of a woman, and she just owned her space.
And she was one of those characters that was like, when we talked about before, like not amoral, but she made some questionable choices throughout the whole show, where you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, she played to win.
Yeah, no, but that kiss, that was episode 8, in case anyone's wondering. Get on that.
Yeah. You can just rewind this and watch it again.
You can rewind it. That's the one. Get on that one. And this one was lovely. Where Your Eyes Linger was amazing in many categories. One, it was the first Korean BL, which is fantastic. Second of all, these two boys were hot. And I was totally into this relationship from the get-go, right? And so when they finally got together at the end, it was lovely.
Yeah. But K-drama logic, you have the son of a rich man being told he has to live in an apartment with his hot bodyguard.
Right.
Okay, dramas.
And wacky hijinks ensue. I'm not really sure what happened. But yes, but their relationship was sweet, and it was loyal, and it was great. And that ending was super satisfying and so romantic. And it was so great to see on a K-drama. So nice work, Where Your Eyes Linger. We're really excited to see more of those. They've got definitely many more coming out. There are a lot of those are on Viki if you want to check those out. Yeah. And then probably my favorite kiss, the most romantic thing I think I actually witnessed in all of KDramaLand in 2020, and that I kind of made Marisa let me put this one in because
I'm like, okay,
that makeup kiss in Brahms, Marisa.
We've been watching for what? I don't know, 3-4 years. Right. But for those of you who've been watching even longer, I'm sure that the fisheye kiss is you're just over it. You're done with it. Yeah. Like to get this was it sealed the deal for us. This show was just perfect.
It was like, you and I both were like, this is going to be a train wreck, because the way they ended, they headed into the finale. We're like, what is going to happen? And then 15 and 16 were like two of the most romantic and epic episodes. And you and I could not let it go to save our lives. Like, no. And it culminated with that moment. And I was just like, it was so good. I was so into it.
This show, I need to binge it again because we watched it live, so there was like a week in between, and the tension was like building up for us. And so when you got a real kiss, and you could see the passion behind it, and Park Sun and Chae Sun-ah, it was just oh my God,
right? Oh, it was just for me. It was just in all the greatness of romance in K-drama in 2020, and there was a lot of it, you guys. Like, obviously, we just showed you a whole bunch of it, but for me, like that one, that's the one I could watch on repeat, like just over and over, and just be like, that's it. That was perfect. What about you, Marisa? Which one was your favorite?
My favorite? Oh, well. You know, there's some other kisses coming up in the shows that we're going to be talking about.
Oh, all right. We'll get to that then. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And our final category, you guys, as you all know, because we talk about it all the time, we love a show that sticks the landing, right? Here are a handful of ones that we thought really did a good job.
16 episodes. It's short compared to American series, but sometimes they just... slide off the rails. That's the wrong metaphor. But
it's just careened into misty-esque tunnels.
Oh my God. Leading off with Startup. Hit the ending in a way that was so satisfying.
Satisfying.
That power walk down.
They're together as a couple. The sisters are getting along, and then you get then we get our final minute with Ji Pyong being just being salty, which was fantastic. Because he was salty with the whole thing.
That's right. He's got somewhere else to be, apparently.
Exactly. Right? And it was just, I just loved it. That power walk of success.
Yes.
It was just exactly what you said before. 16 episodes is tough. And sometimes shows just careen wildly out of control. So if you can stick that 16th episode landing, and I just take all of the shipping wars out of it, right, Marisa? If you take all of those out of it, it was a really satisfying show.
That's the thing. I don't know if this was so Korean dramas often are shooting as they're airing. So you know, it used to be more problematic where endings would change, you know, because they were listening to audience feedback.
Yeah.
So, but this one, there was a lot of audience feedback happening as this was airing. But
they just went after this show, right?
Right. But for all of them to come together and to just have, you know, that they were walking into this really beautiful future.
It was so good. It was such a great ending, right? I loved it.
Yeah.
And as we've already talked, Kingdom was one of our favorites this year. And it wasn't 16 episodes. It was only 6, but it was some of the most stressful 6 episodes. So when it finally resolved, I think collectively everyone watching Netflix at that time took a deep breath as well, and we all hit that cold water together, right?
That's right, because the ending for season 1 left us before anything happened, like the setup. And so for this to end this way, so dramatically, with these amazing effects, with just, you know, it was so gorgeous, right?
All of Prince Ju Ji-hoon's team had all been turned into zombies. They'd all been attacked and bitten, and there was no way they were going to survive. How are they going to live? What is going to happen? And then they figured out the cold water. Actually, Bae Doona figured out the cold water because Bae Doona, as we've already mentioned, smartest lady in the entire region. But yeah, it was so sad. Oh my God, I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was as epic as the entire series was. So it was just good ending.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then one that we just finished, like literally last night, but it was such a satisfying ending. We had to add KAIROS to this list because time travel is not easy, especially in K-drama.
No, they had, it was a knit sweater, the number of threads that they had going in this show.
Right.
And somehow with a lot of skill, this writer pulled it off.
And like that final bit where the thing that I thought was really, I don't even know what it was that made it so satisfying about that, but the fact that they didn't try and like force a romance on that between the two of them. Like it was just, they were just comrades, which was so great.
So for our lead character, Shin Sung-rak, played by Shin Sung-rak and Lee Se-young, there was so much growth and maturity, and they became better people.
Yeah.
And the time travel was confusing, but it made sense. Like,
Yes.
don't ask me to explain the plot to you.
No. Absolutely not. But watching it, where we've watched other time travel shows this year, where you're just kind of like, the rules, nobody's following the rules that were set up, and the rules don't count. The rules always were established and always made sense in this one.
Yeah. It was, and you really figured it out when, like, how the time travel worked, and it was just, when that clicked, it was just, this writer is so good.
So good. Yeah. Super
Mhm.
satisfying. So if you want kind of an adult themed story with a little bit of supernatural time travel, this one did such a good job. We really recommend this one for sure. And then,
oh my goodness. We were so nervous heading, like episodes 13, 12, 13, 14. We were like, it's not going to happen. They can't do it. Do You Like Brahms?
Brahms?
It became my obsession this year.
Yes.
They nailed that ending. Holy cow.
It. This performance was just, it just solidified all of it, right?
It is. And this was set up in episode 1 where she was not, the conductor threw her out of the orchestra. She was not allowed to play with him. So to come around here to the end where he wanted to accompany her.
Right.
Because they're meant to be together.
I love it so much. And like her love of music and him and his love of her love of music. Like it was just that it was just the whole story kind of came together in that moment and then drove us to the end. And it was just it was so beautiful. I love that.
Perfect.
Like seriously, that show, you and I both were like texting wildly, like this show is careening off how are they going to wrap this up in 2 episodes? It is not going to happen. And they did it so well.
They did. They were true to the characters, true to what the characters wanted.
But as good as the Brahms finale was, there was no show that made me, and I don't know if it was you, Marisa, at all, but as you as well, but there was no show that made me happier this year than Flower of Evil. You guys, I could pull clips all day long with how amazing this show was. And even the finale, the finale as a whole was so amazing for the story they set up that it was so hard to just pull one clip. So all we could go with was the very end when, oh God, who remembers his daughter. Oh God, it was so beautiful.
It was the most adorable daughter in all of K-drama child actors.
Oh God.
But it's because it was set up in episode 1, that amazing kiss between a husband and wife. And this beautiful family that went through hell and back a few times.
Oh my God, just right? Yeah. So Do Hyun-soo, Lee Joon-gi, I know Lee Joon-gi's been around forever, but I suddenly became like a super fan after this. He just hit everything. Like he played the antisocial personality disorder perfectly. Like he hit all those points. He's, it's so good. Like seriously,
I know.
We need to do a whole show just on Flower of Evil because I need to pull all the clips.
Yes, it was this amazing marriage. It was a family.
Right?
Was he a psychotic killer?
Right. And then that ending, that final episode where he has amnesia, but then he just becomes his normal self. He doesn't remember his family at all, but he kept remembering little things about him. Like he had the whole fridge packed with egg tarts for his daughter, but he didn't know why he kept buying them. Like, oh God, then he tried to buy his old workshop, not knowing that was his workshop. Oh God, it was beautiful.
I know. But you're right, because then his wife, played by Moon Chae-won, who was the detective who was after him, she was there for him. She, she knew what to fight for. Oh
God,
I want to rewatch it right now.
Right? Oh my God, I'm going to rewatch this one like 3 times. So Marisa, so there it is, you guys. There is our year in review, and it's kind of beefy, but we wanted to just share with you like all of the goodness that we actually saw this year, because 2020 was a year. So Marisa, we're having this conversation. Like, which ones do you want to rewatch? Like, obviously, I want to rewatch like Flower of Evil, like on a loop.
I want to rewatch that one. I will rewatch Do You Like Brahms until the day I die.
Right. Yes. That's another good one.
It is. I think I need to rewatch The Curse before the movie comes out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm just about to replay our entire list.
Right, I know. It's like this list is so good. Like, we really had such a great year of K-dramas, you guys. Like, it's just such a good year. I'm looking at this. I almost even want to go back and watch Crash Landing on You, which is such an investment. Those episodes are like an hour and 40. Like, it was crazy how long those episodes were. But yeah. It's just such a great year of K-drama. So
it was. So we hope you guys will join us in the K-drama Clubhouse. We go live on Sundays because we watch shows live and we talk about them because there's so much K-drama goodness out there and nothing makes us more happy than to talk about them with you.
Love it so much. So we just want to say from our team here at the KThree, happy holidays to everyone. However you celebrate that. We hope that 2020 was an okay year for you in this dumpster fire of a year, that everybody was safe and sound and healthy. And let's just get into 2021 and just put this whole thing behind us, except for the K-dramas. We want to keep those on repeat.
Yeah.
So until next time, you guys, we're the KThree. I'm Jen.
I'm Marisa, and thank you for being part of this K-drama Clubhouse. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and share it with your friends and bring more people into the K-drama Clubhouse.
We'll see you next year. Bye.